Good afternoon. Welcome to Derek's piano tutorial number 18. This is a follow-up from tutorial number 17, which is in the previous tutorial. It's going to be the same format. I want to talk about the third set of flashcards from 6 to 9. In total, there are 54. I have included a little extra segment toward the end of every single tutorial to have a download link. It's not very relevant in the previous episode because I didn't have time to make it into a separate segment within the tutorial. But in this one, it will be much more clear how to get the download. All these flashcards belongs to Keyboard Arts, and the owner of it is James McFadden. He's since retired as a teacher, teaching in City College for 40 years. So there are no other, besides his student who learned the flashcard in City College, there are no other people who knows of these flashcards. So I'm the sole holder, and that is why I'm making an extra effort to create all these tutorials, and eventually I want to create the flashcards for Vision Pro and Oculus, so the next generation of people will have access to learn how to learn the piano concept in a much more easier, systematic way. And I did take a guitar lesson from Lawrence Ferreira. He's the teacher from Conservatory of Music of San Francisco. He's since retired, and he also taught in San Francisco State University as well as City College. Yes, he was a very prolific teacher. He worked very hard. He's retired, and he taught. Of course, he doesn't know the flashcard. The only people who knows of a flashcard would be James McFadden from City College and his student. But I'm gonna transpose it somehow, translate these flashcards to classical guitar. I could play one or two classical pieces from Valls. That's Lawrence Ferreira. So if you want to learn classical guitar, you're able to utilize these flashcards. The last tutorial I gone through a run through. A run through is 3 flashcards in a set, and usually every single tutorial you have one run through. And so this 6 to 9 tutorial number 18 is no different. Let me check. I always forget that. Yeah, number 18. And so this is no different from the other set, and the way I gave the naming convention. Globally, there are 54 flashcards, but locally, it's always FC1, FC2, and FC3. And this tutorial 18 is the third set from 6 to 9, and how it's different is we no longer have to associate a letter name for the piano, and this applies to guitar. The flashcard was never taught into guitar, but I would sort of just move the general concept of how the flashcard works to classical guitar as well. So instead of memorizing each letter name on the piano, you go through a reference point. Normally, if you want to learn piano, you would have to have a piano teacher teaching you the acronyms. Like FACE will be the the space line of the treble staff, and the bass part will be GECA. That's the space part of the bass staff. Instead of just going that, you learn through intervals. So basically, you're going through a distance. If you play a piano key on the same key as the first, because it's a distance. If you go up, the very next key is a second. You go up and you skip a key, it's a third. And you go skip 2 keys, it's a fourth. And you go out skip 3 keys, it's a fifth. And you can also use your hand as a measuring stick. So a third would be 2 fingers right here. This is a third. and this is also a third. A fourth is finger 1 and 4, and fifth is finger 1 and 5. So that's the layout of the piano and stuff like that. On the treble staff, there's a ground staff which consists of a treble staff and a bass staff. You have lines, and each line or space is a placeholder, and each one of them, these placeholder, also have a letter name. But instead of learning all these letter names, which I will sort of sporadically remind you how to memorize it using the traditional acronym, you want to use a reference point. So the reference point on the piano is a treble B, middle C, and bass D. Those are 3 keys. They're almost separated by an octave. It's called a virtual octave because it's a second less than a whole octave. An octave is a key that repeats the name of the key. So a C, a middle C, then 1 octave up is a treble C. It's the same key. Like that. And so on staff, you have the same thing: treble B, middle C, and bass D. Treble B will be the middle of the 5 lines. So the third up, right in the middle, there's 5 horizontal lines and staff. That's treble B. And bass D will be the middle of the 5 lines on the bottom. Right in the middle, right there, there's 3 holders: B, C, D. C, sometimes they have a tiny slash because like they want to save ink, so they don't always necessarily have the slash. But B and D have or the space between that little tiny slash. So those are the 3 right there. And in order to read the interval distance, if it's a space and a space is a third. If it's a line and a line is also a third. A fifth would be space, 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 or line, line, line. A fourth would be space, space, line, or line, line, space. That's the stuff like that. And it's very important because although like you could memorize the letter names, if you use a reference point, it just save a lot of work because you're able to think the whole aggregate as a unit. Like maybe a measure has 3 different measures. So a good example is I'm playing Furlise, and instead of just looking at each letter of the playing, I just look at the reference point A, which is a third. A will be G, yeah, a second above bass D as an A, and then there's a treble B. So if you play Furlise, it spans it traverses about 3 measures on the bass, which is you play by your left hand. And so if you use a reference point, you're able to save. You think it's sort of an aggregate of the whole thing, and it does really becomes very efficient once you go into the mode of looking at inter-measure, how the 3 measures relate to each other, or 4. You could do it, and also another emphasis is how you jump. So when you play a measure, there's certain measure that's a little bit more difficult because the keys are out of range, and so you sort of don't think about how you play it, and you look ahead 2 or 3 measures ahead and you jump. And so those are also emphasized in the run through of the flashcards. So in this episode right here, I want to emphasize the staff, which is a grand staff and a bass staff, and they have placeholders for the staff: treble B, middle C, and bass D. There you go. We are going to start another run through. Globally, the names of the flashcard is 9, 8, and 7. Locally, it's called FC1, FC2, and FC3. They're always hardwired to that. And stuff like that. The starting position of the lower hand is G, and the starting position of the upper hand is F for the first flashcard. And the starting position of the second flashcard, FC2, is B and D. And finally, the starting position of the last flashcard is upper hand E and A, like that. So count 4 beats before you play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oops, sorry. Okay. Count 4 beats, please play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi, welcome to Derek's piano tutorial. If you like the flashcards, you can download at the iCloud link at the link below.